talk about a potential trade market for Brock Purdy if it comes to it, because they could always give him all the money he wants. That's an option. Or they could get creative and just figure out what their options are. So we mentioned Niners want to play hardball like they did last year with Ayuk. Listen, Brock, you think you're worth this much? Go find one team that'd be willing to trade us a first-round pick and pay you this money. Are the Steelers that team?
Hey, they might be, because we talked to our boy Noah Strack of Pittsburgh on SI, just fielding, because look, this started from me quoting your thing about like, I don't see any team giving a first round for Purdy, because it goes similar with Ayuk, right? It's like, we're not going to give a first and extend him, because Purdy's most likely looking for that lucrative deal that I'm against. So when we got to give that first and extend you, that's a little rough. So you start looking at teams in the first round who need a quarterback and will be willing to give Purdy that, especially off a fit. And honestly, the only two teams I saw are the Jets and the Steelers. The Jets, hell no, at 7. And I asked another guy who covers them, and he says, no thanks, we're good off Purdy, give him 7th. That's a very high pick to give up for Purdy and then extend him. So next, I saw the Steelers. Okay, the Steelers are quarterback needy. I don't really see the fit with Metcalf, and especially if you keep Pickens there, because those guys are more like deep bomb threats receivers, so I don't see the fit. However, our boy Noah said, yeah, if he's looking for just around 50, which is like, that's a little harsher. It's like, oh, if he's just looking for the 50, I can see the Steelers giving up 21st. And you know what? For a 21st, you're getting a little closer to the end of the first round. It's like you have your starting quarterback for the next few years. That makes sense for them. And I think that's where he's going from. I think that's where the number starts getting a little weird. It's like, okay, do you actually think you can get Purdy for just over 50? Like, he's probably going to bang the table for more. But yeah, the Steelers sound like a very good one, according to our boy Noah.
Well, the Steelers wouldn't necessarily have to extend him right away either. I mean, they had Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal. They had Justin Fields on a 1-year deal. They could play hardball. Who knows? But I do feel like this is a team that'd be interested in Purdy. I mean, they spent the 20th pick in the 2022 draft on Kenny Pickett. And I bet internally in that organization, they wish, man, I wish we had taken freaking Brock Purdy instead. Purdy destroyed him week 1 of 2023. If they liked Kenny Pickett's skill set, like best case scenario, he was going to end up being the guy like what Brock Purdy is right now. And again, the 21st pick isn't that much. So yeah, I could see the Steelers doing it. They have no plan. Their plan is either like give the job to Mason Rudolph. You can't really draft a quarterback at 21. Can you? Now you take Jackson Dart. Take Jackson Dart at 21 and hope.
Yeah, let's rehash Kenny Pickett again. That's
right. Exactly. They're not going to do that. So I could see them wanting to do something that's more the sure thing, and I could see them wanting, like, being okay with spending money. I mean, they're not cheap like the Yorks are all of a sudden.
I just think the one holdup if you're the Steelers from doing it is like, you know what? Like, obviously Purdy's way better than Pickett. Pickett's a glorified backup. Purdy's a starting caliber quarterback in the league. But one thing Noah said, it's like he mentioned like, oh, he's been to a Super Bowl. I was like, Noah, stop using that. Come on. We've already gone through this, but he mentioned mobility. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's one thing like Pickett didn't really have, especially not on the level of like Purdy. So I think they really like that because maybe the offensive line isn't as a stout, which, that's probably a little problematic. I'm just really curious about the fit there. I know he's saying that, but I think he said it because he ended up saying like, look, there's thirsty quarterbacks. He did reply to me. He's like, there's some thirsty quarterbacks where if you put them based on just like where they've been to, everyone will be sold on them. Like the Steelers are very quarterback desperate. So if there is like another like market you're looking for to get rid of them, if that is the case, that's where you're looking at. You're looking at the Steelers again. It's like, hey, let's break bread, brothers. We know it didn't work last year with Brandon Ayuk, but we got Brock Purdy.
Look, I know that Noah Strackbean thinks it's a good idea, and I love Noah, and we're colleagues, and we both work on SI. I don't think the Steelers are going to do this. Let me give you some split stats that maybe Noah's not aware of, maybe people in the chat aren't aware of, maybe the Steelers aren't aware of. But in Brock Purdy's career, okay, against the NFC, he's 20-7 with a quarterback rating of 116. He kicks ass in the NFC. When he faces the AFC, he's 6-7 with a quarterback rating of 82. It gets worse when he's facing the AFC North, which is the division he'd be in. His quarterback rating is 72, 4 touchdowns, 7 picks. The one win he has against an AFC North team is against, of course, the Steelers. So I don't know, man. It's pretty cold up there. He can't,
Cold weather city. Yep.
Yep.
Like you really want to trade for a guy who's literally just evidence. It's not even a debate. It's a fact. He sucks in bad weather conditions.
It's a fact.
He's not good in weather conditions. We've seen it already a few times. Like,
what if he uses Kenny Pickett's gloves?
Are they the same hand size? Number one,
maybe.
Are they the same hand size? Number one. Number two, I'm not sure you want to even touch anything Pickett does because that guy just was a turnover machine, just inaccuracies all over. But I think that goes back to the second, like another underrated aspect is about extending Purdy, whether you're the Steelers or the 49ers. In this case, 49ers is, look, if you were in the AFC, are you extending Purdy? Like, think about that. It's like, you can do that. You can sell yourself on extending him, even if they want to go where it's, again, I don't want them to go into the 55, 60 million range because look, we could still compete in the NFC because there's not a ton of great quarterbacks or not great quarterbacks for long. Like there's Stafford, there's Hurts, but he's more of a good player than like a good quarterback. There's Jordan Love, who's a roller coaster. You never know with him. There's just like, and then compared to the AFC, you got like a solid 5 through 6 that are like constants. Like, no, these guys are going to be holding it down for the next 3 to 4 years. Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, like that you're going to think you're going to compete if you're the Steelers with Purdy against those 5 or 6 players in cold. And you got Metcalf and Pickens, who are not the ideal Purdy receivers.
But hold on, like from the Steelers' perspective, what are their options? Russell's gone.
That's who, yeah.
Fields is gone. Jackson Dart feels like Kenny Pickett 2.0. Aaron Rodgers, Cameron Hayward doesn't want to play with them. I don't know what your options are. Mason Rudolph, he's pretty good. He deserves another chance. We haven't seen enough.
Fine,
of Mason.
I'll do it myself. Stano said.
All right, let's take some super chats. Dave Sims says, fire Brick, Mac, 2 years, $7 million, Mordecai, quarterback 2, go.
Who's Brick?
Well, there's also other guys you could bring in the room. Dave Sims says, gee, your shirt game is as fire as your music choices. I just went, Jose's killing me today. I took the shot at Kobe yesterday, and this is a little troll. You're trolling me, aren't you? No love for Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom, I guess. No love for Andrew Bynum.
Why can't you give enough love for people?
And no love for Sasha Vujicic. He was so important.
The machine.
David Kendall Jr. says, I wouldn't pay no more than 30 a year. And if he doesn't like that, tell him to kick rocks because we got Big Mac.
That's a little too wild for me. I don't, come on, 30 million. Sheesh.
I want Mac Jones just for the memes. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Dave Sims says, fire Purdy and Lyle, let John and Salah run it now. Then he says 50 million for zero grip and humidity plus ? Okay, Gojira Von Jink says Purdy 5 years, 250 million. First 2 years, 25 each. Third year, 60. 4 and 5 years, 70 each. East opt out after 2 years. I would do that. Would he do it? So it's essentially 2 years, 50 million with a bunch of funny money tacked on. If they like him,
Wouldn't you want to like front it? That's that way. Like when after year 2 or 3 you don't like him, you get out of him easier. That'd be my ideal, right? I mean.
I think this is clever. Like he can come away being like, I got a 5-year deal. I'm getting $50 million a year. It's like, yeah, but nothing's guaranteed after the first 2 years, and you only get 50 million the first 2 years. So
that's always the thing, right? That's why I'm a big proponent of like, look, if you are gonna like cash him out, like give him like no more than like 160, 170 guaranteed, and then that way it's like you come out of the contract after a few years, and then it's like, well, yeah, it's 200 plus, but he only got 170 guaranteed. He's not. It's less than Goff's and Hurts.
Rod Simmons says, Ayuk in 4th for Cousins and Kyle Pitts. Cousins. Do we have a Cousins topic today? Should we even entertain Kirk Cousins as a topic? I guess we have to. We have to.
And since we're talking about trades, yeah, because I actually talked about it the other week. And first of all, that Falcons are weird for keeping Cousins and paying him $10 million of that dollars.
Yeah.
But I think actually, you know what? I think it's because Kirk doesn't want to get screwed again. He wants to go somewhere where the fit. But yeah, I think if Kirk Cousins is on the table, the only way I could see that is if you're trading Brock, because you wouldn't have to pay Kirk anything. You're just giving up draft capital, and his worth is very, very low.
Is this a real report? It says all day, every day, Kim. Yeah, it's from Jordan Schultz. You can check it out. I'll put it in the chat box, but foxsports.com. So he writes a whole lot about Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk. This is Jordan Schultz, the guy who got into that fracas with Ian Rappaport at the NFL Combine at Starbucks. He's the son. He's an Starbucks heir.